Get ready, Staten Island.
The Ferry Hawks are back at SIUH Community Park July 7th to the 12th for a 6-game series against the High Point Rockers. Tonight, first pitch is at 6:30. It's Thirsty Thursday with $5 Bud and Bud Light drafts. Friday, July 10th, first pitch is at 7 p.m. May the Force be with you on Star Wars Night with post-game kids glow around the bases with special lightsaber training packs.
Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are the media. 800-848-9222, 800-848-9222. John Catsimatidis, the owner, creator of the Red Apple Audio Networks, Wired to the World, has information, breaking news. He's been in conversations with presidents. He has information about the reaction to the NATO summit and other facts that you and I need to know. He's calling in. He's going to be on the show in just seconds. And I can't wait to hear what he has to say. He's the host of a show every day on the Red Apple Audio Networks with Rita Cosby. And the two of them are amazing. He knows everybody. She's a killer broadcaster. It's a stunning radio show. But what he's put together here at the moment is the best group of radio journalists in America. They just started the Worldwide News Network run by Lee Harris. Now, what does that matter? This guy, this Lee Harris, was the morning drive anchor on the most listened to all-news station in North America for 30 years. Everybody wants to work with Lee. He's assembled the best radio journalists there are. It's a stunning operation. If I owned a radio station, if I ran a radio station, I'd say, where can I sign up for this? When can I get that network? It's quite something. It sounds great. Big deal radio, big boy radio. Meanwhile, other radio companies, other media companies are shutting down their news departments. They're cutting their news staffs. And as a result, they sound terrible. And the morale's awful. What'd you say?
The Other Side of Midnight proudly presents Breaking News.
John Catsimatidis, welcome to The Other Side of Midnight, a show you named.
Well, I'm glad to be on, and I've been up, and we have some breaking news, and it's important. And I couldn't get anybody in our own news department because I guess they must be sleeping.
John, I promise you they're not sleeping, and if they were, I wouldn't tell you. But this is the best stage possible for you because Midnight Misfits are looking forward to the information, and we know you and trust you, and nobody's wired like John Catsimatidis. Please go ahead and reveal the story.
Well, last night I got a text from supposedly President Clinton that already had like 56,000 retweets and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's on President Clinton's website. I don't know how they did that. But I just spoke to President Clinton about an hour ago, and it's fake news. And it has President Clinton, and it's created by AI. That President Clinton is criticizing President Trump on his handling of the crisis in Ankara and NATO, and it talks about the F-35s that supposedly that President Trump wants to possibly give to Ankara or to Turkey, and it's fake news. I don't know. Look, I texted President Trump, and I talked to President Clinton, and I just want to. I thought WABC, it's important to expose it to the world. And, we do have a worldwide presence. We're in 178 countries and 50 states. So it's time for people to realize, look, I know President Clinton for 30 or 40 years. I know President Trump for 40 or 50 years. And the fact is that President Clinton would not. When I first got the video, I was very suspicious because I would never think of President Clinton criticizing. Ex-presidents usually do not criticize current presidents, and that's why I texted President Clinton, and I guess we were right, and it is fake news. He did not do that video that's on Instagram or Facebook. I think it's Facebook. Is not correct, and it's AI generated, and I felt that WABC should talk about it first.
Well, I looked at that video.
Did you see it? Okay.
Yeah, I looked at the video. It looks like a phony video. I don't even know what language that subtext is in, and it's Greek. It looks like a phony thing, but what you just said is true. I've never known President Clinton to say anything critical about the actions of President Trump. And
in addition, I spoke to Prime Minister Mitsotakis a few minutes ago in Greece, because it was put out by the Greeks, and he acknowledges it, and he is concerned, though, with Prime Minister Mitsotakis of Greece, is along with Israel, is concerned about the possible sale by the United States of F-35s to the country of Turkey. And look, I have not specifically talked to President Trump about it, but my gut feeling, knowing President Trump for 40 years or 50 years, I don't think he's going to do it.
I don't think he wants to escalate this situation at all. And the only reason why he's recently started to bomb Iran again is they have broken every covenant, every promise. It's the only way to get their attention. Would you say that's true?
Yes, it's, and I'm not sure Greeks that put that out. I'm not sure if they're just trying to be vicious, or they're just trying to do fake news. But our job at WABC is to tell the truth and expose the fake news when we know about it.
Can I ask you a question about the price of oil?
Absolutely.
Now, John Catsimatidis has a very unique perspective. He owns an oil refinery in Pennsylvania. He owns about 200 gas stations. Is that right?
400.
400, sorry. Terrible.
And we have our own oil refinery, and we have our own pipelines that go into Canada.
How does it work? From the time there's trouble in Iran to the time it gets to our pump, what is the timeline between shortage of demand and price increase?
Very, very short. Usually, if the price of crude oil drops $5 a barrel, $10 a barrel, and I was on Maria Bartiromo's show, and I've been saying that on WABC the last few weeks, that oil was going to drop. When oil was at $75, $85 a barrel, I said oil is going to drop to $65. Last week it was down to $67. So it's at the gas pump, it's usually about a 7-day delay.
Who tells the local gas stations to adjust the price? Who do they get that order from?
Usually from their parent company or their cost of goods. There is a little bit of a lag, but the truth is it's not that much of a lag. And I know that President Trump was very upset about it, and he told the oil companies to make sure they lower it. Now, the further truth is, the North America, United States, Canada, we never had a shortage of oil, but the oil companies in North America followed, as usual, the European companies in Brett. We never had a shortage. And the truth is, maybe it shouldn't have happened, but it did happen. But it's not the fault of the refiners, because we paid for it. We have to pay for it whatever the oil companies charge or whatever the market is.
6 months from now, your prediction as an oil refiner, as a gasoline retailer, as an expert on the world political stage, what do you think the price of gas is going to be?
Well, it comes back to where the war is going to be. I think there's going to be no war, and I believe the price this current situation in Iran, I believe, is temporary. So when the price of oil is down to $65, I think the price of gasoline will be below $3 a gallon in America, except for California, who's they have crazy numbers anyway in California.
They're insane.
They are insane. And hold on, I got to finish. I'm texting the Prime Minister. Please hold on a second.
Are you guys buddies?
We know each other for a long time. Okay? And he's concerned about the F-35 sale. And like I said, in my opinion, and I know President Trump for a long time, I don't think it's going to happen, but I have not specifically talked to him. But the price of oil, here's what's going to happen. The price of oil comes down, the price of gasoline comes down, and at that point, the Federal Reserve, with the new Federal Reserve chairman pushing it, the interest rates will come down, and the economy will do great because interest rates come down. And so far, the economy hasn't realized what's going on with the $19 trillion of new business and new factories that are going to be built in the United States, as per President Trump. And we're going to have a shortage of labor. But it's going to happen. And I'm the first one, Walter. Last year, when the Dow Jones was at 32,000 at the low point last summer, I think it was, I'm the first one that predicted 50,000 by December 31, 2025, and substantially did happen.
Yes.
And early in January of 2026, I predicted Dow Jones by December 31, 1926, that it's going to be 60,000. And the other day, it was either 53,000, almost going up to 54,000 when this current skirmish started. Now, what you have to understand, what the American people have to understand, and what the European people have to understand, the big oil companies in Europe or Asia or wherever, every dollar oil goes up, they make a lot of money. So if there's a skirmish, maybe some of them do panic. You have to think about that. Maybe some of them do panic when the price was $67 last Thursday or something like that. But I'll give you the current price according to my computer. Hold on a second. Current price. Right now it's at $71.53. It was as high as $75 a day or so ago. So $71.53, and the low is $67. people do believe that you're going to wake up one morning and say, "Well, we're all meeting again."
John Catsimatidis, you mentioned about Maria Bartiromo. You are the Fox News, the Fox Finance oil expert. You come on there a great deal. They rely on you. What you have to say carries a lot of sway with that marketplace. When I look at the situation in Iran, I'm always puzzled by something pretty simple. Maybe you can give me a perspective. I'm not being facetious. The people we're talking to there who, quote, run it, I thought we killed everybody who ran the place. Who the hell are we talking to?
Who are we talking to where? Oh, you're talking about Iran.
Yeah, who are we talking to in Iran?
And the joke I was telling, to me, it sounded like the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah,
that you have the civilized, you have the chimpanzees, which are the civilized portion of Iran, and you have the gorillas that are the, I guess, the crazy IRGA or C, whatever they call it, of Iran. And there's two functions in Iran. Right now, there are the common sense people that want peace and just want to move on. And there's also the IRGC that don't want peace and are willing to go down dying, and they're the ones that create the turmoil that's being created. And like President, one second, my throat. Hold on.
It's all right.
And President Trump sounded disgusted in the last few days, since the current turmoil. But it's just a faction of Iran. It's not all the Iranian people. The Iranian people, the Persians of the Iran, are very civilized, very good people, very great people. It's the Iranian Guard that doesn't want peace, and they want to keep the turmoil going, and they want to keep control of what's going on in Iran. They don't want peace.
As one of the great food retailers of the Northeast, when we finally get out of Iran, are there any section of foods, any type of foods that you expect will go down in price the minute we get out of Iran?
Well, the truth is that food will go down because the food shipping, it's still going. A lot of it is still going around Africa. A lot of it is still not going well through the Panama Canal. So it takes confidence as far, New York Stock Exchange and Wall Street punish these companies if they're off by a penny. You've seen that happen. If you're off by a penny in your projected earnings, you get punished tenfold. So these food companies, until there is calm and they know that the interest rates are down, they know that their cost of energy is down, they don't have the confidence to reduce the price of food. And that is the truth.
Did you see that Smucker's bought Hostess about a year ago, and this turned out to be a bad investment of $7 billion that Smucker's paid for Hostess, for Twinkies, and that has not gone well? Do you have any thoughts about why that didn't go well?
Well, I'm not completely familiar with that. Was that the one that was Hostess was bought by that Greek guy, Dean Metropolis, I think, and they took it from America made it non-union,
Right.
and moved it to Mexico. And they created a frozen product with no waste product, and they made $1 zillion, and if they sold it to Smuckers. And they were Dean Metropolis is a very smart entrepreneur that knows how to take a broken product like I do. That's my specialty. Take products that are broken or companies that are broken and make winners out of them. And if somebody bought it and I wasn't familiar about the sale, then they're not as smart as Dean Metropolis was.
No, they were not.
And now I'll give you an example.
Go ahead.
I'll give you an example.
Go ahead.
When 20, 30 years ago, when Quaker Oats, Quaker bought what was Snapple.
Snapple.
And they paid $2 billion. They weren't smart enough, and they almost went broke. Quaker almost went broke.
Exactly.
So, investment bankers sell to stupid CEOs and stupid board of directors stuff at retail. And look at the radio industry. Cumulus went bankrupt again. iHeart Radio is 5 minutes away from bankruptcy. Sirius is 10 minutes away from bankruptcy. I mean, they went into big debt, and they were convinced that they should buy all these radio stations. And you know what we do? You know what WABC does? You know what John Catsimatidis does? We're there with a checkbook, but we don't pay the retail price.
In general, would you say a lot of your success in all these various industries has to do with the fact that you have essentially avoided venture capitalists at all costs? I have avoided. We love to buy things in bankruptcy court that are broken, and I'm trying to teach my son that we love to buy things that are broken because we're capable of fixing it. And people that go and pay an exorbitant amount of money, that they're buying it at the optimum price. Well, a lot of them get hurt. How many more radio stations are you going to buy?
Unlimited.
There you go.
Big checkbook will travel, and I spoke to the powers that be in Washington. We want to make a difference in Europe because we feel that the European people need to know the truth. I'll give you another example.
Yes.
We just bought a 50,000 watt station in the Boston area,
right.
And I'll tell you about the one thing I'm upset about in Massachusetts. You have 39% of the Massachusetts people are Republicans. 61% are Democrats. Meanwhile, the 39% Republicans have zero Congress people in Massachusetts, zero Congress people, zero senators. So what happens to the 39% of the Massachusetts people? They have no representation, no voice in Washington. Tell me that, you talk about redistricting. You talk about redistricting and you say, okay, you got to make it fair. But why don't we make it fair substantially to all the voters in Massachusetts? Let approximately, within 10%, let it be approximately 39% of the registered Republicans have at least 39% of the Congress that Massachusetts sends to Washington. Think about what I just said. They have zero. And that's not fair.
How would you solve that?
It's a big problem. I spoke to Professor Dershowitz. We have Professor Dershowitz on our show, Katz and Cosby, at 5 o'clock every 3 times a week. And I spoke to John Yu from Berkeley in California. We have him on a few times a week. And constitutional wise, you can't change. The states themselves have to do that, but it's in the big picture, it's not fair to the average voter.
No, it's
so
not.
How do we fix it? It's not that easy to fix it. So I'm not going to lie to people. I'm going to tell people the truth.
Now, I am required to mention that right now we're on WGN in Chicago.
Great station.
And you are obligated to share about the person you have just hired for the Red Apple Audio Networks and on WABC. Please share who you just hired.
Well, we hired President Trump's former lawyer and Michael Cohen, and they've had that. They worked together for 10 or 15 years. They were very close friends together, and they had a disagreement, but disagreements happen. And I believe, and all is forgiven between the two of them. And WABC believes, and my company believes, that people should be given second chances. And I believe that President Trump believes that he's happy that I'm doing this.
When is Michael going to be on, and what is he going to be doing?
Well, right now he's going to be on Sid's show tomorrow morning, I believe, at 8:30. He'll probably be on my Sunday show Sunday morning, and then he's going to have, starting Sunday at 5 o'clock on WABC.com and on your iPhone 77 WABC. He'll be on worldwide at 5 o'clock on Sunday, New York time.
Insiders tell me something about Michael Cohen that I did not expect, but I think a listener would find fascinating. He's funny. He tells funny stories. He's got the best stories, and he happens to have a sense of humor. It'll be fascinating to hear what he has to say. I'm going to ask you something that you may not even realize. I can't believe this hasn't been covered, reported, examined. There's an amazing fact about American radio today that I'm like, why isn't this discussed in a bigger sense? There are relatively very few all news radio stations like WINS in New York, BBM in Chicago, KNX in Los Angeles. There are only about 9 true all news radio stations in America. Today, John Catsimatidis, all but one of them, the one in Washington, all but one of them are owned by George Soros. And I'm like, wait a minute, George Soros owns all the big all-news radio stations, the ones that just do continuous news, not like WABC or WGN, but the ones that just do continuous news. They're owned by George Soros.
Well, don't forget, Odyssey went bankrupt.
Yes.
And George Soros stepped in and bought, or Alex Soros, the son, they bought Odyssey radio stations before the election, and I guess they were hoping that Harris would win the presidency of the Democratic Party, well, Harris lost. President Trump won, which is great for our country because I don't believe Harris was capable of running this country.
Or anything.
Yeah, I mean, and I believe, my personal belief, look, that if Harris would have gotten in, it would have been difficult for our country to make the 300th year anniversary.
I agree. And I have another question for you, if you don't mind, sir.
No, I don't mind.
Now that you own WABC and you've launched the Red Apple Audio Network, we're on a lot of big radio stations, and that you've launched the Worldwide News Network, From the perspective of your various industries that you came to the radio industry to, that you now own up front and center, big radio stations, big radio company, and you've hired a brilliant and incredibly effective general manager, president in Chad Lopez. When you look at radio today, now that you
and we have a great news department, and we created Worldwide News Network,
yes,
which is going to be our news arm for the substituting for CBS leaving the syndication of the news department, and we're going to have. I am a believer. I grew up during Walter Cronkite's time. And 92% of the American people believe Walter Cronkite. Right now, when you look at ABC, CBS, NBC, what is it, 12% that believe what they say? But they still listen.
Yeah, maybe. But my question is, what has surprised you about the radio broadcast industry? Any things that have really surprised you? Sit back and go, I can't believe they do that.
Well, it's corporate owned. They fired the department, because they took on so much debt, a lot of debt. And because they took on such debt, what happened is they let go all their, what do you call them? They're double checkers. The people that check and see if the news is real or fake. Yeah,
the fact checkers, the editors.
The fact checkers.
Yeah.
And they're firing their news departments. Look, even who bought the Washington Post? Was it Bezos?
Bezos.
Now, and he fired half the crew there because they were spending money like a bunch of what was the old expression? Spending money like a bunch of drunken sailors?
Yeah.
Well, they were spending money with a bunch of drunken sailors because they had a billionaire, almost trillionaire owner. But Bezos is a businessman, too. Nobody wants to piss away money. And I think he let 300 reporters go, or 300 people go from the Washington Post. And common sense has to prevail. America is the greatest country in the world. We celebrated 250 years. By the way, you know what I did last night?
What?
Last night, there was a ceremony down on the Wall Street area because the 250th year of our country, New York. George Washington was in New York on July 9th, 1776. And we read the Declaration of Independence down in the Wall Street area. That the same way 250 years later that George Washington was there, because New York State didn't declare the Declaration of Independence till July 9th, 1776 at 5:30 in the afternoon, New York time. And we had a big celebration. And my friend Arthur Piccolo was there, who I went to Brooklyn Tech with, that runs that Bowling Green Association. And it was a wonderful, the Greeks were there, the Irish were there, the Italians were there, our friends from Spain were there, everybody there, because all the American people got together on Wall Street, where the bull was, where the bull still is,
right,
and celebrated the signing of and reading of the Declaration of Independence on July 9th, 1776, and it was a great experience. Walter, I'll send you the video later on. It was a great experience, and I was glad to be there.
Love to see it. John Catsimatidis, the owner of the Red Apple Audio Networks, WABC Radio. Hey, John, are you having a good time?
Well, I want to have a good time, but I want to make, what all immigrants want?
What?
To make a better life for their kids and their grandkids. And, at the age of 77, and I still work 7 days a week, I want to make sure when it's time for me to depart the world that I could say on my last breath, I made a better life for my kids and grandkids.
Well, you did. And you mentioned about the previous owner of WABC. I need to say this for you so you don't sound like you're bragging, even though you could. But I need to put this in perspective for a listener. You did something that's not supposed to be done. You took an AM radio station that was dead on its ass. It was an embarrassment. It was the best signal in New York City, one of the best signals in America. The signal was no excuse. Reputation, no excuse. And they had managed, this big VC company, to take a radio station and drive it to about 28th in New York City. Now, that's not easy, but it's much harder to take a station from 28th on AM only and make it top 10 month after month after month till today. It is the most listened to talk station in North America. You did that. You made it better. You did that. It's an honor to be here, sir. Well,
I'm glad you are there with us, and I'm glad that we took it to from number 2. It was actually, I think, 28 in the region, and we made it number 1 according to Nielsen. We made it number 1 talk radio station in the country. In America.
Yes, sir.
And we are there. We want to do the same thing in Europe, and I have the powers that be, because I don't like to talk names. The powers that be in Washington want us to do the same thing in Europe, because the European people deserve the truth.
Sir, anything else you'd like to share with us tonight?
Well, we talked about the price of oil. We talked about what's going to happen with oil prices coming down, what's going to happen with interest rates coming down, what's going to happen with $19 trillion of new business coming into the United States. We talked about the Dow Jones average. We talked about why the price of food is not down yet. We talked about Hostess Twinkies. We talked about Snapple. What else do you want to know?
Who's on Katz and Cosby tomorrow?
I don't know. We have a meeting every day at 11:45 in the morning.
That's okay. It's all right.
And we decide then.
And by the way, you don't need to hear it from me. What a dream she is to work with. Could not have been more cordial when I got here. Has helped me every step of the way. Terrific team, great colleagues. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for what you do. Thank you. Thank you for what you get out on UFOs, because the truth is, we didn't build the pyramids by ourselves.
I believe that.
And the truth is, when people talk about the pyramids, it's not only in Egypt. There are pyramids in the whole world. Look at the ones in Mexico. There are pyramids all over. Somebody helped build those, and how I convince people that what is going on. The 50 or so UFOs circling the Capitol in 1952, and it was on the front page of the Washington Post. And you can't make that up.
And because of that, I did the homework on this. That story wasn't one night. That happened day after day. That was covered in the newspapers in 1952 for about 2 weeks. Those UFOs were over the White House for about 2 weeks. An amazing story. John Catsimatidis, owner of the Red Apple Audio Networks, owner of the Red Apple Supermarket, owner of WABC, a leader in the broadcasting industry, wired to presidents. Thank you for these updates, sir.
Well, keep fighting for the truth, and that's what WABC is. And the only time anybody ever gets fired from WABC, you know when? When they don't tell the truth. When they don't tell the truth.
There you go. All right, my friend.
Thank you so much for what you do, and we'll talk again real soon.
Thank you, sir.
I work for Cats, the marvelous, marvelous cats. Whenever I get in a wreck, he just sits down and writes a check. I work for Cats, the marvelous, marvelous Cats. I work so hard that my sides ache and my heart goes pitter-pat. Catsimatidis, the marvelous Cats.
Anyone can sell electronics. At Electronics Expo, they do more than sell products. They design, install, and support complete technology solutions. From home theaters and whole home audio to lighting, shades, automation, networking, security cameras, and premium entertainment systems. For over 22 years, they've helped thousands of homeowners experience technology at its very best. See the difference for yourself. Visit their Wayne or Paramus stores in New Jersey or shop now at electronicsexpo.com.